also the county. And it's going to be, all the work is going to be culminating soon in a new garbage contract for the city that's going to be negotiated. So some of the ideas in there, some of the options in there might be single stream recycling, so that more than just 1 and 2 plastics can be recycled, and also garbage cans, new garbage cans that a household can get depending on how much garbage they expect to have, possibly even charging households by how much garbage they put out or don't put out. So how do you feel about these kinds of options, or what other kind of options would you want to see included in the new contract that will be negotiated soon, please?
That's a large question, and all those items that you referred to come down to how people live their lives and culture, and so the steps we take along the lines that you outlined are going to be best implemented if they're the smallest, and also if we give people choices. Now, I've learned this the hard way, and those of you here during the primary, I had the honor of putting the first county-wide sanitary landfill in the state of Wisconsin, locating it here in Crosse County. And I was in charge of that committee. We did the site acquisition, the engineering, and the DNR approval. But part of that was, and this is why I know culture is key, part of that was that we had to tell people they could no longer run down to Muddy Flats on Saturday morning and just dump at will. And if you think about it, when you grew up, wherever you came from, there was a ravine someplace that was called the town dump, and people went and just pushed it over into the ravine. And in my town, some kids from the high school would be at the other end with a 22 shooting the rats, just so to show how culture has changed. All right, but that is key here, because if you, and it's a little bit like with the stormwater utility, if you don't give people choices, it won't work. And then as you ask them to change their lifestyle, and that's very difficult. It's incremental, and that's not what anybody wants to hear. We'd all like to do it with one clean sweep, but it's going to be incremental. And all the things that you said are desirable, and we'll get there someday. But I really doubt if it's going to be done immediately in this next contract.
Well, I do think that we need to look at all of those actions as part of this contract, because again, having options for people, I would agree, is important. I do think that we need to strive to be better, to do more recycling than what we do currently here in the city. So I do think that those negotiations as a part of that garbage contract, I think that is important to look at that. I do agree, though, that it's got to be incremental, because I do think it's very difficult to have a wholesale sweeping change. I mean, I don't even want to talk about the issue of lids on garbage cans tonight, but those simple things can cause a lot of issues. So I do agree it's got to be incremental. When we're looking back to the sustainability plan, solid waste was a big part of that between the city and the county, and the things like composting, for example. There are communities I know in this country that compost so much that, again, they're getting to the point where maybe someday in the not too distant future we wouldn't even need a landfill, or our landfill needs would be very, very greatly reduced. And you think about in the fall with all of the trucks that go street to street to pick up all of our leaves, maybe there's more opportunities where we could do more household composting and reuse of those things, and get back to some of those things that they're not new ideas, they've been around for a long time. So I think that garbage contract is an important one. I think we do need to look at more of the single stream recycling, the carts, so that again it's much easier for the collectors to be able to zip in, pick up the garbage, and do their jobs as efficiently as they can. And I like the idea of trying to set a laudable goal and then work over time to try to achieve that.
I did answer that.
Yeah.
Sorry.